So morning guys, I'm gonna show you a game from the 2012 Bilbao Grand Slam Masters held in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I selected a game from the fourth round of the tournament where Fabiano Caruana maintained his 4 points lead against Aronian. This game especially is very important because Caruana won by white pieces against Francisco Vallejo Pons playing black. So the game started with king pawn opening, and then we have French defense, a couple of moves forward, and we have advanced variation. And then as usual, attacking at the center, attacking d4 pawns, and we have defending c3, knight c6, knight f3, the immediate queen b6. Sometimes we also see how queens, it is white queen go to b3 and met by white queens to b6, and we have an exchange of queens on b5. But not in this game because Caruana opted for a3. Well, this move do a couple of things. First, it prevent the black knight jump into the b4 after c5 takes on d4, made by c3 takes on d4. If there is no pawn on a3, then the black knight can makes use of the b4 square. a3 also enables push on b4 to challenge this knight on c5, so the black has to decide whether he wants to capture on d4 or not. So game continue by this move, knight to h6. This is not a very good move also. Well, we cannot criticize on this move because sometimes you want to advance your pawn to f5, or a more usual move is that you put your bishop on f8 to e7, and you push your pawn to f6 to challenge the white pawn on e5. Well, this is not a bad move. I cannot criticize this because like I said before, a pawn can move into the f5, or this is a very juicy square also for the knight here, if the knight can make use of this square. And then indeed we have push on b4 pawns, and then like I said before, black has to decide, and it captures the d4 pawns of white, and of course you tag with your pawn on c, and indeed knight jumps into the f5 square and attack this d4. Notice that there's only two pieces defending this pawn, and the only piece then white has at the moment that can put additional defense on this pawn is the bishop c1. But whether the bishop c1 goes to the b2 or e3, I think e3 is pretty reasonable move because it still has this diagonal, and it invites this good bishop to take on this bad bishop. Notice that the majority of white pawns are in black squares, so you don't want to block your dark square bishop. You do want to exchange your dark square bishop sometimes, and this is the inviting move. So black decided to develop another piece, and with this move white literally forces to exchange this bishop with this bishop with this knight. Otherwise the light square bishop will take on this very good knight. So we have an exchange here, And we have G6, pretty reasonable move because this bishop cannot see on this diagonal. Is blunted with this pawn 1 2 3 4 white pawns. So black decided to open G to G6 and open a square for his F8 bishop. The white decided to develop a move and put this knight on play, and sometimes the knight can make use of the C5 square, a pretty juicy square for this knight, or sometimes reroute into the G4 pawns, G4 square to jump into this F3 square. So notice this knight can make use of the either C5 or D6 square. But this is a very interesting move. I like this move actually because it shows how the Vallejo Pons can envision and can calculate several moves ahead. I will note down into the exchange. Well, there's nothing that white can do except takes, and then bishop takes. And the question is that can the knight be defended? Well, in a game, white decided to abandon the knight by castling immediately. But in case you want to, let's say, move your rook A to C1 and defense is knight, then black can simply move the rook again and attack the knight, and eventually you have to castle because the queen move will not be good, either to C2 or D1. It moved herself into the pin because eventually these queens can move into the A3 then attack this piece, and there's nothing that you can do to stop black to capture on C3. So if white decided to avoid the pin exchange, and we have capture and immediate attack on F2, and after castles, black castles, the position is almost equal. White is slightly better at least. So let's go back to the position here, and black capture on B4 and white castles. So indeed, knight is taken, and we have these moves. After this move, then F7 is heavily under attack, and then eventually the queen want to make place. See, the queen can move into the H5 to attack the H7 square. Well, this bishop is wrongly placed because he has to come back and defends the G2 square and place into this square. This is in the wrong side of the board, and we will see how white make use of this situation. Well, the compensation is that of course black has two passed pawns, but whether or not black can make use of it, we will see later. So bishop D2, pretty good move at a glance because it attacks both E3 and rook on C1. But white defended the E3 pawn by moving the queen here and at the same time attacking the F7. Then we have defending move by black, and white decided to attack on C8 because there's no good square for this C rook. You can move to A or B or D, but D is very passive. B and A will give time for black queen to play onto D1 or D1 and then to protect the F2 pawns. and then we have bunch of exchange, and then queen to f3 is very good move because it attacks on b2 and threatening white bishop capture on g6, and this bishop cannot be captured because the queen and the rook x-rays through these f5s and threatening to take on f8. So this position is very crucial, and apparently Vallejo made a mistake here. He moved his queen to d8, protecting his f8 9. But according to me, this is a mistake. If you think that this is not a mistake, please comment on this, and I will happily to receive your constructive comment. This is already lost according to me. Let's go back into this position. A better move would be queen c7, protecting this pawn. So if bishop takes on g6, for example, we can take also on e3 check. If queen capture, then what should we do? We can take take the bishops, and after rook to f6, for example, and we can take the rook, and although white has a pass pawn here, but black has two pass pawns on the queen side, and it's enough compensation for black to hold on. I mean, this pawn is pretty free, but it is still very difficult to white to promote the pawn. For example, we will have this move, and after this is totally draw position. So what happened if instead of queen capture on e3, king can move to h1, for example, and our bishop, black bishop can capture on g3, and the bishop here can retreat and capture on h, and we have f5 immediately, and the queen can come to g2 to protect, g7 to protect. And after this move, I would say black is better here in this position because it can defend well, and it has two pass pawns on the queen side. So let's go back into our position. So queen d8 is a blunder because this is totally low, so we will see why. So queen takes and check and move. This is an excellent move actually. When Vallejo Pons moved his queen to d8, probably he envisioned not king h1 move by white, but probably queen takes e3. So if queen takes on e3, then we will have this variation, and basically this is a drawish position, I would say. It is still not clear who will win. It is pretty draw. So at this position, instead of taking the e3, queen takes on e3, white decided to move his king to h1, and then there's nothing else that you can do. This is totally lost already. Game continue like this, and there's nothing that you can stop white to win. This is totally lost by black. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this video and also enjoy your chess. Bye bye.